Barcelona, they have trounced Real Madrid, for lack of better word, embarrassed them, demolished them at the Bernabeu. 4-0 victory for Barcelona. Two goals coming for Robert Lewandowski in a quick moment in the 54th, 56th minute. Then you had the goal came from Lamine Yamal, cutting back to his right foot, absolutely belter of the shot. And then you had the last goal, and it's fitting. Rafinha, who will discuss the Ballon d'Or tomorrow, but of the Ballon d'Or ended today for this season, it would be Rafinha up to this point. He's been absolutely sensational for Barcelona, and it's just fitting that he got a goal. This is a Rafinha that already has 10 goals this season and 7 assists. And when you look at La Liga and Champions League, he has 10 goals and 7 assists and 17 goal contributions in 14 games. He has been ridiculous. He has been absolutely ridiculous, and he's a talented player. We know he was a talented player, but he's playing to the level of his talents now in a Barcelona shirt so far this season under Hansi Flick. Look, we came into this game thinking both of these teams are they're gonna play. We knew it was gonna be an entertaining game because of the style of play both of these teams. Real Madrid, yes, they're a little bit more balanced in the way that they go about it, but they still can leave space in behind, and they can and generally they can play an open game. We know Barcelona, how high flying, how open ended their football is, how high their back line is pushed up, the pressing, the aggressiveness of their pressing, the relying on the pressure to not allow midfielders and the center halves to have time and space to play the ball in behind, because there's a lot of space to play that ball in behind the likes of Kubarsi, and Martinez, Inigo Martinez. But the thing that I was impressed about, number one, I do have to say Real Madrid in that first 20-25 minutes or so, they did have some clear cut-out opportunities. Mbappe, Vinicius, they had some really good opportunities. Even Lamine Yamal had one as well, going in on a one-on-one. I kind of scuffed the shot there. But they had their opportunities, Real Madrid did. And Mbappe just has, this game has been the story of his Real Madrid start, his career start at Real Madrid. It's just slow. It was not good enough, and he was caught off offsides 8 times, the most in his career. He really struggled to time his runs to be able to beat the Barcelona back line in timely and not to get caught offsides. And when he wasn't caught offsides and he had the opportunities, or the play led on and they eventually called it offsides, he didn't take advantage. He tried to go near post on a lot of attempts at goal, which was interesting to me. He usually has a good, is a good finisher, and he switches it up. He is an unpredictable player, but in this game, he was trying to go near post every single time. And yeah, as far as Barcelona, absolutely brilliant. What Hansi Flick has done with them. What he's done, how Robert Lewandowski now look. That was in the first half. Robert Lewandowski, he's not just a striker, because look, in this system, you have a striker like Robert Lewandowski. Ideally, in the system that Barcelona play, or let me reframe that. How important Robert Lewandowski is in this system cannot be undervalued. Number one, the goals is the most important factor, as well as being a striker. We know the goal. We know how great of a finisher he is, how clinical he is, and we say how great of a finisher he is. He should have had another, to be honest, where to hit the post. But we know his ability just as a number nine, the finisher he is. But that touch he had to play in initially to create that opportunity, that led to the Lamine Yamal opportunity. I mean, Robert Lewandowski, what a player he is. He can drop into midfield and the ball will stick. He can continue an attack. We know how clinical he is from a goal scoring perspective. He's 36 years old and he has 14 games and 11 matches. Last season was a pretty slow season. Was a pretty underwhelming season for his standards, and we thought, oh, maybe this is a sign of a drop off. He had 19 goals last season throughout the season. This season, through 11 games, he already has 14. Just shows there's not no drop off, and he's about to smash his record at Barcelona for scoring most goals scoring at Barcelona. He scored 23 goals in the 22-23 season. He had 19 last season. He's going to get a lot more than 23. He's going to, this season, 14 goals through 11 games, and he just looks comfortable playing under Hansi Flick, playing in that system, and something that he's done throughout a lot of his career. So he's up for the challenge. And then what Hansi Flick has been able to produce out of the likes of Rafinha, what he's been able to get out of him, the goals, the playmaking, drifting into the areas that he find him very, very deadly. How he's playing with such, he's exuberating so much confidence in the things he's, trying to make happen on the pitch, the opportunities that he's taken. What Hansi Flick has done, and then also, relying on La Masia players like Marc Casado after, the players, the amount of players that this Barcelona team have lost to injuries, and specifically at that sixth position, and being able to, have Casado, who's just coming in, 17 or 21-year-old, playing at that sort of level. I think it's been absolutely sensational. I think he's a sensational manager, Hansi Flick is, and it doesn't get much better of a start than this. I have to say it's been absolutely brilliant. Barcelona, big picture, they announced themselves more than a legit contender to win La Liga. I'm almost going to the point where I'm saying, 6 points through already a 6-point margin through 11 games. The way that they won this game as well. Look, I don't want to say that they're favorites over Real Madrid, but if they're not favorites, then it's level. Then it's level at this point. I like to see the odds to win La Liga. I'd be very, very interested. Very, very interested. Who is the favorite? Right now, because 6-point margin, the way Barcelona is looking so far, not saying Real Madrid has not looked amazing, but it can get better. It can definitely get better. Some games they're not really dominating as we expect. This game now, really, really bad loss. They suffered that loss against Lille in the Champions League as well. For me, the Real Madrid they didn't take advantage of the opportunities when they came, and they couldn't stop the bleeding. Once Robert Lewandowski got that initial goal, the confidence from the Barcelona players was exuberant, and Real Madrid, they just couldn't handle that. The amount of opportunities that Barcelona were able to create, Real Madrid, it could have been more too. Sometimes Real Madrid would struggle just playing out of the press, and they really couldn't handle. They were getting suffocated. They were getting suffocated, and you thought, in that second half, maybe even periods in that first half, we talked about how open Barcelona could be leading to this game and how it could lead to a lot of opportunities. Well, Real Madrid got carved up. There was some superb ball played in. I mean, the Casado played a really good ball in the 54th minute that led to a Robert Lewandowski goal. Lamine Yamal played also another brilliant ball that led to another goal. There was some really good quality from these Barcelona players that allowed to the play that allowed Barcelona to get these opportunities. But Real Madrid were very easy to play against. Lucas Vazquez, that is a problem. This is now multiple games that he has made a mistake and has not looked comfortable playing a right back. Now, as Lucas Vazquez can be somebody that can give you flexibility, that a game in, game out, you can plug him in there and he can do the job. But if you're relying on Lucas Vazquez to be that right back, game in, game out, and be on a title push and a Champions League push, he is not at that level at right back. I'm sorry. He's not at that level, honestly, for at any position at Real Madrid to be a starter, game in, game out. He's just not that good. He's just not that good enough. Defensively, his positioning can be pretty poor. One-on-one defending is not really his strength as well. Going forward doesn't give you anything elite. I think, we know that they want Trent Alexander-Arnold, but they can't get Trent Alexander-Arnold in January. And Real Madrid is a team that battles for every trophy game in, game out. So if I'm them, I'm looking for someone in January. Someone in January that you can bring in, whether it is a loan, whether it's a buy, even it can be within La Liga, a player that doesn't have a high transfer value, just for someone that can naturally play right back, that gives you a solid foundation of at least he's a solid defender. He may not be able to give you much going forward, but just someone solid, someone that can be a solid defender that could, that could give you maybe something going forward, but most of all, he'll have his defensive positioning right. He won't get caught out. He won't get caught off the ball. Just someone, that can play there. And at least someone that can also push Lucas Vazquez as well. Because Lucas Vazquez, look at me, and he has no competition. That's, that with Dani Carvajal being out, that is an issue Real Madrid will have to solve in January. That's a major issue. This attack, sometimes they look too. Today they went with Mbappe, Vinicius. Maybe Rodrigo comes back in. Without Valverde, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Bellingham. I thought that could be the answer, but they still looked pretty open to play, and the attack did not look as fluid. As I expected. Again, you're going up against a Barcelona team that is really, really good at a high point right now in what they're doing, but still, that's something that they have to, synchronize. They have to, whether it is, and keep on changing it and switching is not going to help. Now, this game, they were forced because Rodrigo wasn't available. But what Carlo Ancelotti needs to do is he needs to, have a plan, a consistent plan. Is Rodrigo involved or not? Are we going to play in that extra midfielder and allow Bellingham to push up with Vinicius and Mbappe? Or do we put in Rodrigo, play the normal front three, and just play the basic 4-3-3 that, that's become the staple of modern football? That's something that they have to figure out. Real Madrid does. And look, it's a great win for Barcelona. It's a win that announces them at the highest stage. We know, well, it doesn't announce Barcelona. We know what they are, but it really makes us think twice on whether or not that they should be La Liga favorites, because they have scored. Listen to this. They have scored 37 goals so far in La Liga. 37 goals in La Liga. 37 goals through 10 games. They are averaging more than 3.5 goals per game. They are averaging, or a little, actually, let me rephrase that. They're averaging a little less than 3.5 goals per game. That's a ridiculous stat line, and it's not like they're conceding a crazy amount too. They've conceded 10 goals, which is the fourth or fifth best defense in La Liga. Despite how open that they are, they're still defensively a pretty solid team, but they're scoring at a historical rate. They're getting great contributions from Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Marc Casado, who's holding it down. Pedri also had a really solid game. Inigo Martinez, Kovarsi. They're doing the job. They're doing what is expected of them. Balde, Koundé, we know the quality of those two players. Overall, this is a team with some real talent. As they start getting Frenkie de Jong more, more in season, more comfortable, and they can get him back into that starting 11 at his top level. And then Daniel Almo, who's also going to continue to get even more healthy. He had an appearance off the bench. Same thing with Xavi as well. Man, look out for this Barcelona team. They have quality. They have a great manager, and they could score with any of them.